Good evening. Good evening, Solid Rock. Do not try to adjust whatever you're watching. You got the right channel. This is Wednesday Manna, April 3rd. Solid Rock. Joy Lane here representing for Solid Rock. You are in the right place. Just in case you didn't think so. You're in the right place. I don't have a mic. I'm not singing, but you're in the right place. Today is April 3rd. And Pastor's going to be taking a well-deserved vacation for the month of April. So he reached out to a few solid rockers to come and represent. Share a word on Wednesday Manna. I'm calling it the Wednesday Manna Staycation Series, okay? And I really want to say thank you to Pastor for giving me the opportunity to share a word with our family. I really appreciate it. I know it's a big honor. There's so many people to choose from. So thank you for choosing me. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit more time to get in the room, and we will get started. Tonight, I'm going to be sharing something with you that I've been working on, and I kind of was going through my notes yesterday and today, driving myself crazy, rewriting notes, readjusting notes, and then I finally just got a tap in my spirit, and it was like, I don't want you to do none of that. Don't do any of that. Just speak from your heart, tell them your story, and share with them what you're working on. Don't make it complicated. Don't try to make it, a teaching series for yourself right now. Just speak from your heart. So that's what I'm going to do, if you don't mind. So let's talk about where this all started. So I think some of you know that 2023 was a tough year for my family, tough year for lots of people's family. For us, we lost Mom, and that was really tough. I'm already tearing up, so I don't even know why Jesus is making me do this, but it was really tough. And even though we knew it was gonna come, we knew it was happening after caring for her at home for so long. She was on hospice, so we knew it was coming, but when it happened, it really, really knocked me off balance. And it took me a while to get my feet back under me. And that was in June. She actually passed on June 19th. And I think I had in my mind, or I knew I had in my mind, exactly the way I thought that it would happen, that it would be in her sleep and it would be peaceful, and it just wasn't that. So it was traumatizing for me to sit there and watch her pass, and just the way that it happened wasn't peaceful. But as Christians, we know that that's not the end. So there's comfort in that. But at the time, in the moment, it just completely knocked me off my feet. I'm just going to be honest with you. And so that was in June. And then I made a lot of life changes, which I don't recommend. I do not recommend that you make a lot of life changes when you're going through that. But, I pretty much know myself, and I have a great husband. And I was talking to God all through the entire thing, and just telling him that, some things that were disturbing my spirit, and talking to him about it and asking him, look, I think this is the direction I need to go in, and I really want you to send me some type of confirmation that you're on the same page with me. And so we went along like that for a while. And end of August, I'm retired early from my job, because that was one of the big life changes that I made, that I needed more peace and joy in my life. And that wasn't working for me. So I had to make some dramatic changes. And I did. And I'm okay with the changes that I made. I'm satisfied with the changes that I made. But let's talk about August. So the month of August was really, really difficult for me. And I'm going to tell you about one particular Sunday, the last Sunday in August, that I was just tapped out. I was at the end of everything that I knew how to do. And so I remember at the end of the service, I sang that service with Sister Tirza and I think there was one other person. I can't remember who it was. I think maybe Doris. Yeah, Doris and Sister Tirza. And when the service ended, I got up right away and told my husband, I'll see you outside. And, usually when I leave the church, I hug people, wish them a good week, and, speak to them for a little while. Not this service. This service, I got up. I think I even headed towards the back door and just headed out to the parking lot. And I had told my husband, of course, that I said, I'll meet you in the parking lot, because I knew that I was just tapped out, completely tapped out. And I went to the parking lot. He gave me the keys. I got in the car and I waited for him about 10 minutes because my husband is very friendly. Very happy, friendly guy. Mr. Lane, I love you. And so 10 minutes later, he gets in the car. He starts it up. He's telling me, oh, Sister so-and-so was looking for you. She told me to tell you hi. You left out of there so fast. You okay? And I said, babe, I'm tapped out. Like, I think I need to take a break right now. I just think I need to not come to church. And I watch it online, but I'm not doing good right now. So emotionally, I was really fragile. Like I said, my mom's passing really traumatized me. And in all of the doing after arranging things and meeting people and taking care of things, I did my best to take care of me, but I actually just did a kind of mediocre job at that. My husband did a great job at that. He always is an excellent person to take care of me, but and the people that he loves, but my self-care was a little bit off. So he said, oh, baby, I support you. Whatever you need, I'm gonna still come to church. I'm like, yeah, baby, of course, you still go to church, but I think I need to just take a break. So he's backing out the parking lot. Sunday, it was crowded that Sunday, and we're waiting in line. I think we were about two cars in front of us to leave the parking lot. And he says, we're talking, and he's like, whatever you need, baby, I want you to take it easy. I'm worried about you. I want you to be okay. Do whatever you need to be okay. And I'm like, yeah, babe, I'm going to do that. And I think what I really need to do is just take this break. And so we're sitting there waiting behind the two cars to leave the parking lot. And we get a knock on the window. And I look over at my window. And Dr. Rose, I never told him this, by the way. But Dr. Rose came up to the window and tapped on it. And I'm an imitator. He says, Sister Joy, I just wanted to tell you that it just makes me feel so good seeing you up there singing and smiling. You just be smiling big when you're singing. And it just fills me up inside. I just feel really good when I see you up there. I just felt like I needed to tell you that. And I said, thank you. And he walks away happy, Dr. Rose. And I roll the window back up. And I look at my husband and he looks at me and I'll be like, Jesus just be messing with me. He just be messing with me sometimes. Like, yeah, I hear you, Jesus. I see you. I hear you. I get it. That's not the direction. Jesus is like, in that moment, he's interrupting my thought. He's interrupting the state of mind that I'm in. And he's like, nope, that's not the direction you need to be facing in. No, that's not what we're going to be doing right now. You're not going to stop going to church. That's not the move we're making right now. And so I get it, Jesus. I hear you. I hear you. I don't know what to do with all that's going on inside of me right now, but I'm going to pray on it, and I hear you, watching church, on the stream is not going to work out for me. That's not what you want to do. That's not what you want me to do. So I'm going to do my best to be obedient in that moment, and I'm going to just be praying on this. So the next week, my church, my old church in New Jersey had um, I think that was the week that they had the come home church service where all the people that used to go to the church would come back. And so I went to participate in that. I think that was the week. I'm not sure if that was the week or not, but I went to participate in that, and I had a great time. Saw a lot of people that I was missing, and that kind of filled me up. You know, it's a lot of love there. A lot of love at Solid Rock. I ain't saying that. Please don't say I think I'm saying that. Lots of love at Solid Rock. But a lot of love that I was missing at my old, with my old choir and some of the people that I've just known for years at my old church. And so I spent that day with them, and I came home and I just felt a little bit more, a little lighter inside. And I had been having some difficulty sleeping, and I told my husband, babe, I really just miss my girlfriends. Like, we haven't had a girls' night out because I'm in Delaware, they're in Jersey. It hasn't really worked out for us to have a lot of interaction with them being in Delaware. And I haven't been going up to New Jersey as much as I used to when we first moved down here. So I'm telling him, you know, I just needed that. Welcome home, come back to church day was perfect because I got to see a lot of people that I was missing. And that was missing me. And so I started sleeping a little bit better. Still kind of having sporadic waking up like 3 o'clock in the morning type of thing, and sitting up, and so I'm pretty much exhausted at this point. And I had a really deep sleep, and I had a dream, and my dream was that I was back at my old church. I was pulling into the parking lot. Excuse me. Should have had tissue. And I pulled into the parking lot, and it was in a Sunday. It was a day when it looked like they might have been doing something for the community. There was, you know, maybe 10 cars in the parking lot. We have a huge parking lot, so 10 cars, just knowing that somebody was there and the church was open. And I was pulling up because I had an appointment or something. The dream didn't really reveal that to me in the beginning. So I go into the church, and I see people are busy. They're like preparing tables and putting tablecloths on them, and like they were about to do, like I said, an event or something for the community. And I walk in, and I remember I turned to my left, my right, that's my right. And I walked into, it's a mega church, so when it's really crowded, like on nights like, well, it's always really crowded, but when it's particularly crowded and you can't really move from the front to the back, there's places, corridors within the church, the walls of the church, where the people that work at the church can move around so they can get where they need to go during service, so that they don't interrupt service. On Christmas Eve, when the choir needs to get downstairs and get upstairs and not have to travel through the congregation, there's corridors that go through the church in certain areas. So when I turned to the right, I walked into one of these corridors, and I remember walking in it for a minute, and then I came out of it, and I was on the second floor of the church. And I saw a lady standing in the hallway. The hallway was empty, and I recognized her. She was an old choir member I hadn't seen in a very long time, and she recognized me, and she was like, "Joy, it's so great to see you." And we embraced. She gave me a really big hug, and she was like, "I really missed you. It's so good to see you." And I think I responded similarly to her, and she said, "Oh, you're here for a meeting, right?" And she said, "They're waiting for you." And she made a gesture like this, you know, like go that way. And so the way that she was gesturing towards was like a Sunday school classroom. So I started walking towards the Sunday room classroom, and I'm thinking, what's going on? Like, I don't quite know what's going on, but something's going on. So I go towards the door, and as I go to the door, it opens for me. And I walk into the room, and it's not our Sunday school class. It's a music room. It's a music room like if you were in band in high school, And there would be like chairs and areas around for the band to sit. And in the middle of the floor in a circle, there would be a teacher, an instructor, a band leader. So when I entered the room, I just took like maybe 2 or 3 steps into the room, and I just kind of stopped and looked around. And there's people sitting in where the band chairs would be, just kind of scattered. And there's a teacher in the middle of the room where the circle is. And he was speaking when I came in. And when I took like 3 steps, everybody looked towards me. He looked towards me. He stopped speaking. He looked towards me. Everybody in the room that was sitting down looked towards me. And he said, "Oh, Joy's here." And so I walked in further because I'm like, okay, I guess this is where I'm supposed to be. So I walked to like the middle of the room, directly opposite from him. It's like a curved room like this. And I looked over towards him, and he said, "Okay, I'm going to be working with Joy now." And I looked at him. I remember looking into his eyes. And I said, "You're going to work with me?" And he said, "Yes. Is that okay?" And when I looked into his eyes, it was just love. It was just overwhelming love. And I knew it was Jesus. And I said, "Okay." And I don't remember much after that dream. I don't remember much after that moment when I said, "Okay." I know something continued. And it was a conversation had, but I don't necessarily remember that conversation. I'm sorry, y'all. And so, I don't know why I didn't bring tissue. So, when I woke up, and I don't know how long after that dream I woke up, but I think it was like 4 o'clock in the morning when I looked at the clock, like 4:30 or something. And I told Al, I kind of moved in the bed, and Al was like, "You okay, babe?" If I move, he moves. And I said, "Babe, I just had this dream." And I told him about it. And he was like, "Wow, babe." Understatement. He was like, "Wow, babe." And so I think we both went back to sleep. And then I woke up, and we talked about it a little bit more, and I just told him, first of all, I felt so completely different after that dream. Like from the time I went to sleep to the time I woke up, every weight that I could have felt was lifted. Every thought or pressure or whatever it was that I was feeling, I couldn't even really describe it. I think I was in the midst of the stages of grief. And whatever stage I was in was really some type of an attack. And Jesus pursued me through it. He like reached through it and like knocked it all into pieces. Because it was gone completely when I woke up that morning. And then I was, to this moment, I think for the rest of my life, I was forever changed because of the magnitude of that moment of him pursuing me like that. Let me know that he saw that I was struggling, that I was doing the best that I could, but I was really struggling. And he reached into the place that I was, and he took me out of it. That's what it felt like. So that's the story that I felt like he was impelling me, nudging me all day. Just share that story, share that story. So I've shared it with you. And I hope that it helps you. I want to let you know that I'm not special. I think that Jesus pursues all of us like that. And he didn't do that just for me. And me sharing the story with you, I want you to know that he does the same for you. Maybe you don't see it and you don't feel it or have the experience the way that I just had it, but he's doing that same thing for you every day. So after that night, when I went to sleep, and I slept really, really well after that, and when I woke up, I had joy and happiness and just really a sense of purpose was really just kind of driving me in everything that I did. And when I woke up from that, when I went to sleep the next time, and for the next couple of weeks, every time I went to sleep, sometimes I couldn't sleep through the night. I felt like I was getting downloads from God. I felt like God was sending me information and he was talking to me every time I went to sleep. He was encouraging me every time I went to sleep. He was telling me to remember things. He was sending me memories. I kept dreaming about things that I had done in the past and jobs that I had worked in the past and the things that I did on those jobs. And he kept just showing me things over and over again, like, remember this, this is what you should be doing. I want you to use your life experiences to help people, to encourage people, to motivate people. I need you to do that. You have a very specific ability to speak plainly, which I always thought was negative, but clearly he was telling me that plain speaking is not, it's not a negative. You know, sometimes you speak so plain that people get offended, and I talked to him about that. I was like, sometimes people, sometimes people can really get offended when you say things directly. And don't I need to change that? Don't I need to adjust and make some, don't I need to change that? Like, is that what you want from me? And he's like, no, you have a gift for delivering that message the way it needs to be delivered so that it impacts people the way they need to hear it. He said, but there is a line. And I can't tell you that we were having like conversation back and forth like I'm saying it to you, but these are the impressions that I got when I woke up. Like, I knew that when I woke up, and when I asked him a question when I went to sleep, when I woke up, I had an answer, which was amazing. Why wasn't that happening all the time? It was amazing. Still is amazing. And he was like, there's a line, there's a thin line that you can go here or there with direct speaking, with plain speaking. Your intention is not to harm people or hurt people when you speak plainly. So make sure that when you speak, that you're not using your tongue to stab people. Make sure that you speak a little bit slower. When that thought pops in your head, it's the right thought. It's not like a negative thought. It's not a bad thought, but take some time before it gets from your head to your mouth to deliver it well enough so that people don't feel like you're trying to kill them. And he said, you're not doing that. There are times when you do that. But even the times that you do that, it's not being received the way that you may think it's being received. The people walk away from you and it stays on their mind. But it doesn't stay on their mind as if you tried to kill them. It stayed on their mind as, she saw me and it was right. How did she know that? So just adjust your delivery. But sometimes that delivery needs to be as direct as it is. So I thought about that, and I struggle with that sometimes. But in all of that, I was listening to him telling me about when I used to work at the phone company, and I used to have a chair next to my desk, and people would sit in that chair and come get coached through a difficult moment or to get a word of encouragement or motivation. That's before I was a manager. And then when I became a manager, it was 20 times more than that, 100 times more than that. Every person that I managed and supervised was the same experience. So he said to me to use that and move forward with that. So I started a business called Peace and Joy Lane. And because all I want in my life is peace and joy. And all I want for people is peace and joy. And I know that the way to have it is faith. And I know that the way to have it is to work for it. It's not going to just flow to you. You have to do the work. You have to read the Bible. You have to ask questions about scriptures. Maybe your understanding of the Bible is not the correct understanding. Maybe your opinion is not correct. Maybe the Bible can help you. Maybe, yes, the Bible absolutely can help you to be saved. Not just in your spirit, in your body, the way that Christ saved us all from our sin, but to be saved from the things that are agitating and attacking you on a daily basis. To save you from lifing, because life is happening all the time. And we all have different experiences, and we are all the sum of our parts. And we need to heal the things that we have that are dragging us down and taking us away from our purposes. So let's cut that short. I don't want to get into a whole preaching mode with that. So I hope everybody is still with me. You know, I stopped crying now with no tissue. So a couple of things came out of all that downloading that I said God was giving to me. I started focusing on mindset and helping myself and people to adjust their mindset, to understand the things that are keeping them stuck, the things that are making them feel like they're not good enough, or having some type of imposter syndrome, you know, thinking that you're imitating something that you're not. Have faith in God. You know, he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. I don't think he's making any mistakes, so I guess I got that wrong. But have faith in God.